Hello and welcome to a bonus edition of Cracking the Cryptic, where I'm going to be trying to do just that and crack today's cryptic crossword in the Times. It's the 9th of November. And now why am I doing this? Well, it's because this apparently is just about the hardest Times crossword there has been for years. And you can see this from this is the current leaderboard. Now, the first 4 times I think are not real. They're people who pre-solve and then type in their answers. And that's verified, by the way. There's a site called the Times Crossword Snitch, which has done a whole load of statistical analysis. The first real time here is Verlaine, which is Matthew Marcus. Brilliant solver, just done it in under 10 minutes. He would probably average 6 minutes for the Times crossword, so it's obviously virtually double his normal time. Aphis99 is real, Jason James is real, and these times are very long, and you can see then it really starts to stretch out. People like Henry Blanco White, Tom Stubbs are very good solvers, taking nearly 20 minutes to solve this puzzle. So I hope I'm going to be able to do it some justice for you. I'm not going to be trying to speed solve it, but I am going to try and solve it, and I'm going to try and talk you through my thought process as I go. So here goes nothing. Would you mind the setter maybe using Latin? Oh, goodness me. The moment I see Latin in a crossword, my heart sinks. I never did it at school. Let's try this one. Correct English book appreciated all round. I'm thinking amend here. If you correct something, you amend it. Book. But book can be so many different things. I don't think it is amend, actually. Appreciated. No, sorry, don't know that one. Reporting by journalists of cause of sailing incident in bay. Reporting. Reportage is not going to be the answer. Okay, let's try this one. A film made with 4th edition of dictionary coming up. Film made a 4th edition of dictionary. It's going to be something like OED. It's video. I don't believe I've just solved that cold. That's mad. That's absolutely mad. Right. Okay, I have somehow solved this clue. Film made with 4th edition of dictionary coming up. Well, the only reason I solved this is the only abbreviation or short synonym I know for the word dictionary is OED, the Oxford English Dictionary. So I decided to put OED at the start of it. I was thinking 4th edition, that's probably going to be the D, as the 4th letter. And then it occurred to me it could be the Roman numeral for 4, which is IV. And if it's coming up, it's a down clue. So if I reverse OEDIV, I get video, which is a film. That is fantastic. So let's go back to my Latin one. Would you mind the setter maybe using Latin? It's going to be a Latin expression that I'm not going to know. Backing an opponent of violence, mostly. That's going to be dove. Yeah, look. Okay. So an opponent, a dove. Dove reversed mostly is DOV. Vodka. Vodka must be the answer. Backing an opponent mostly with king. I'm just trying to see where this A comes from. Maybe it's meant to be backing an opponent, a dove, with king. Oh, with king in. Yes, so it is. It's a dove. Most of the expression a dove for an opponent of violence. So an indefinite article, then the dove, with K for king inside it. Now K is a valid abbreviation for king because of chess. I think the chess. In chess, isn't a knight's move signified by N? You go NF3 or something like knight to F3, whereas a king's move is a K often. Well, usually, in fact, always. One down. Reporting by journalists of cause of sailing incident in bay. Coverage. Well, I can see that's got... The reason I got that was I thought of cove for bay. I haven't actually understood why it's coverage, but I'm going to have a look at that. Reporting by journalists is coverage. Cause of sailing incident. So how is ERAG, which is sort of a reversal of gar, cause of sailing incident in bay? I'm not sure. I'm going to leave that in and just see whether the crossing letters work. 11 across. Lexicographer, originally from OU, that's Oxford University, I presume, dispatched entire contents of chambers. Well, lexicographer, something like Roget from Roget's Thesaurus, originally from OU. I mean, dispatched entire contents of chambers makes me think we take the middle letters out of the word chambers, and that would give us CS at the end of this word, lexicographer. I don't know, maybe coverage is wrong. Dispatched. I'm not seeing that at all. 13 across. Oh, twig could be get something, couldn't it? Get. Twig eye replanted to make things even. Get one's own back. Twig eye replanted. I'm going to put that in as well. I haven't got a clue why that's right. Get one's own back is certainly to make things even. Twig eye replanted. Twig is to get. Eye is one. Replanted is sewn back. Wow, that's clever. Wow, goodness me. Okay, this crossword is clever. Let's see. I know there's the Latin word cave, isn't there, which means beware, I think. Cave, caveat emptor, cave emptor? No, I don't know. Winger is kid on edge. Winger, it's probably going to be the name of a bird, is kid. Tease on edge. Not seeing it. Jack has got everyone's deliveries wrong. Jack, wow, has got everyone's deliveries wrong. Goodness me, I haven't got a clue what that is either. This is tricky. It's tricky and interesting, which is what I like. Old taxman visiting Amsterdam at the weekend. Matthew. Ah, yeah, okay. So I think Matthew, presumably therefore in the Bible, was probably a taxman. I didn't know that. But the way I got it was the word visiting suggests that the answer is visiting the phrase Amsterdam at the weekend. And if you look inside Amsterdam at the weekend, you can see spelt out M-A-T-T-H-E-W, which is Matthew. And that W in the grid makes me think that must be right. So, caveat, cave. There is a word. There is an expression. I've only seen it in crosswords before. It's something. I think this letter is a V. Cave, V. Cavedum or something. Okay, if that was a V. Oh no, winger. No, I don't like that. Winger is. Oh dear. Setter maybe in Latin. Would you mind? The setter maybe. Oh dear, this is bad. 12 across. He painted large bat on house. The only good thing about this is at least it's a cryptic crossword. If this was a quick crossword, you basically have to get the crossing entries and then slap something in randomly. There is a chance that this wordplay might give me a way of getting a toehold into an expression I don't know. Queen to take off in pursuit of rear admiral. Also, it's annoying because if you have done Latin, you're just going to write this in because it's just going to, it'll be a known phrase. Oh, hang on, I'm mixing matching clues here. 12 across. He painted. So it's probably the name of a painter. Hogarth, I'm thinking. Large bat on house. House can be HO. That is a valid abbreviation for house. So Hogarth, large bat, Holbein. Oh, goodness me, that's clever. That's another very clever clue. You may be asking, how on earth is that fitting into the wordplay? Well, let me explain. House is H-O, large is L. If you bat in cricket, you're batting. So I think be in there is, or maybe large bat on house. Yeah, I think you know, if to bat is to be in. So I think it's as simple as that. So Holbein is the answer, and that maybe gives us an L at the bottom of, well, it does give us an L at the bottom of this one. Hang out tops to dry with exotic lacy. Okay, well, I can do this one. Hang out tops to dry with exotic lacy lingerie. Do not be misled by thoughts in your head of exotic lacy lingerie. That will not help you solve the clue. Very often the surface reading has nothing to do with the answer. A way to get this is just to see the word tops and think of the letters as having tops. Now, what would you say the top of a word is? Well, I think most people would say it would be the first letter. And if you take the first letters of the words dry, with, exotic, lacy and lingerie, they spell out dwell. And if you hang out somewhere, you dwell there. Oh, so amend was wrong. Correct English book appreciated all round. Correct. English book appreciated. Appreciated is like clapped, isn't it? If you appreciate something, you approve of it. Let's try this one. Queen to take off in pursuit of rear admiral. Ooh, Queen, Cleopatra doesn't fit. To take off in pursuit of rear admiral. Rear admiral probably can be R.A. So R.A. at the start, name of a queen? Wow, don't know. What's this one then? Let's see if we can guess this without looking at the clue. So it looks like something car, doesn't it? Like a state car, but it's not that. Here online, courses, polish, and so on are cut. Okay, well, it is something car, because I can see some of the wordplay. I haven't got the answer yet, but and so on is etc, etc. Are cut is cutting the word R, i.e. chopping off its last letter. So that gives you this. So here, online courses, buffet car. Oh, that's clever. Gosh. If you polish something, you buff it. And online courses, I was thinking the internet. I'm sure probably most of you were too. It's not talking about that. It's talking about on a railway line. Where would you get the courses on the railway? In the buffet car. Isn't that brilliant? Oh, debug could be correct. Yeah, okay, I like that. Why is this debug? English book, E and B. English can be abbreviated to E, book to B. If you dig something, you appreciate it. So in the past tense, you dug it. Debug, very nice. Can't complain about that. That's gettable, I think. Oh, butterfly fits here. Rutherford, no. Queen. To take off in pursuit of rear admiral. To take off in pursuit of rear admiral. Rear. I was just thinking that your rear is your butt. Is that somehow relevant here? Yeah, queen. Yes, that's beautiful. See, and I've been misled by something I'm always saying in these videos. Never, ever in these crosswords read two. I read this as rear admiral. In my brain, I could not differentiate those two words and the fact they connect together so naturally from each other. But actually, to solve this clue, you have to, because it's not rear admiral. Admiral ? And admiral is a type of butterfly. So the way this works is queen is Elizabeth Regina, ER. To take off is to fly, and that's in pursuit of your rear, which is your butt, B-U-T-T, to give admiral ? Butterfly. And the question mark is there because admiral is a type of butterfly, so it's saying admiral is an example of the answer. So now I must be able to get this, assume I know the word. Let's see. Although actually I can't think of guying, maybe. Ooh. Oh, country, it's going to be Guyana. Fellow is guy. Stories to tell. Well, this is a big crossword word. Anna, A-N-N-A, which are Norse stories. They're sort of sagas, I think. If you look it up in the dictionary. In fact, have I got the dictionary open? I think I do. Let's come over here and type it in, and I will prove it to you. Anna, here. A collection of someone's talk or gossip or literary anecdotes or possessions. Okay, it doesn't say anything about Scandinavian there. I thought it was from Scandinavia, but maybe the dictionary doesn't support that. But Anna is clearly getting at the right thing. Stories to tell. Well, we've done the top right of this very hard puzzle. That's something. So 4 down, we've got the Jack one. Jack has got everyone's deliveries wrong. No balls. Okay. Now, why is this? I think Jack and knob are synonymous, because I used to play it. Was it cribbage where you'd have one for his knob and it meant the Jack? Well, I have seen that before. It's got everyone. Everyone is all. Apostrophe S, that's this S at the end. No balls are deliveries that are wrong in cricket. So what is this? Cave. I just don't know it. I'm so sorry. The only hope is we get 3 down, and then I'm pretty sure that's going to be a U. we might even use the dictionary. If that's our last one in, I won't feel too embarrassed about that. Right, lexicographer. Who is this? Don't know. Originally from OU, dispatched entire contents of chambers. Lexicographer originally. Could be L, that could be. From OU, dispatched entire... Oh, that's difficult. I just don't know it. But we have got some starting letters in the bottom of the grid. 14 down. Volatile situation in Brixton unfolding, journalist recalled. Volatile situation. Now, I think that's going to be the definition. Brixton unfolding. Looks like an anagram of... It looks like an anagram of Brixton. And then DE at the end for a reversal of ed. And a journalist in Cryptic Crosswords is often an ed because it's short for editor. And it's the one journalist they can fit as a short synonym. So that would suggest we're looking for a word like volatile situation. Tinderbox. Okay, well, I don't quite understand how it's not ending in... okay, right, so actually I have to read this more carefully. In Brixton unfolding. So inside an anagram of Brixton, we need to recall our journalist. So that's why the DE is reversed inside, not at the end. So but Tinderbox is great because that gives us an X here. Now, the other thing I've just noticed is if we look at the letters that have been used in this puzzle so far, they're quite unusual. You know, we've got a K, we've got a couple of V's, we've got a B, we've got a W. We've just found an X. So I'm on the lookout now for the other unusual letters, J and Q. Because I think this crossword's obviously been, yeah, it's an absolute humdinger, isn't it? So it's going to be a pangram, is what I'm thinking. All off, presumably, to see old President Nixon. Yes, if everything is off, nix, which is a word for nothing, nothing is on. So that's quite gettable. 25 across. Record of Turkish governor. That's probably... Oh, there is a bay. That's a type of Turkish governor. So this could be Abbey something. Abbey Road. Record is Abbey Road. Oh, that's a good get. It's good to get that from Record of Turkish governor. I haven't even read the rest of it. Visiting in foreign lands. Abroad. If you're abroad, you're in foreign lands. That's lovely. What a lovely clue. Don to assess student teachers finals with that. Don. Something on. If you put something on, you wear it, you don it. To assess Student teachers. Finals. That is probably yon. If you see yon valley, you're seeing that valley. Student teachers. Try on. Okay, if you don something, you try it on. Oops. Now I'm going to get the puzzle wrong because I've over-typed things. So try on for don is going to be right there. So let's try 20 down. Party, chief's territory. Your domain is your territory. A party is a do. If you have a do at your house, you're having a party. Chief of anything is the main bit of it. And then we've got 21 across. Pressure unduly over tax, perhaps. Give us another X, which would be great. A mark of democracy. Pressure unduly. Apparent. If something's apparent, it's overt. A mark of democracy. Oh, that's nice. Okay. If you cast your vote, you put an X next to the candidate. US midterms going on at the moment. I don't know if it's the same in America, but in the UK, when we have elections, we have to write an X on our ballot paper. So overt A and then the X for the mark of democracy. Lovely. 18 down. Harmful refusal by Native Americans to swap. Harmful, anxious? Noxious? Oh, I like noxious there. That's got some sort of Sioux. It feels like the Sioux are involved in that somehow. How is that working? Refusal, no. Yes, it is. Right. Refusal is no. That's just a word for refusal. And then you can see Sioux has its tips, its start and end letter reverse, this X and this S. And noxious is harmful. So we are slowly whittling away at this. Historic work. Do I have any idea about that before I read the rest of the clue? Historic work. England. Don't know. Awfully handy, not a poem. Awfully handy, not a. Historic work coming in awfully handy, not a. That sounds like it's an anagram of the word handy without the a, which would be HNDY, and then that's got to be put around a historic work to give us the name of a poem. So, but what on earth could the first letter be then? If it's not the A, it would have to be an N, H, D or Y. That's another worrying clue that this is some weird sort of Middle English name of a poem. I don't know that. Excursion with host to see body of church. Synod? Excursion. Trip? Strip? With host. Army? To see body of church. Excursion. I don't know that. I'm having a few ideas about short synonyms of words in the clue, but I can't see what it is. English castle. No, Windsor doesn't work, does it? With a lord. Oh, single key. A lord is going to be AL at the end of this, I'm sure. So key. English castle. What's this then? Excursion. Ooh, I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm no longer sure about the AL at the end of this one either. Right, 15 down. We're getting into trouble in the bottom right, aren't we? Disapprove, boo, of having very brief word with Yankee, tough. Wow, disapprove of having very brief word with Yankee, tough. Boo. If something's tough, it's boo. Yankee could be a Y, so that would put a Y there. A very brief word. Having very brief word. Disapprove of. Tough. Bother boy or something like that? Bother boy. like somebody who's a tough, as in a yobbo. Bother boy, I quite like there. Disapprove of. Having very brief word. Boo boo? I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that one. I quite like bother boy, but I don't really understand the wordplay. Let's try 24 down. Ruin suit, not rain suit. Ruin suit. Go suit. If something's ruin, be bad. Go bad. Suit. I should be able to get that, but I'm so discombobulated and confused by all the other clues that my mind isn't thinking clearly. Are becoming bothered primarily by police's image. Are becoming bothered primarily. That could be just ABB. By police's image. Are becoming bothered primarily. I really like ABB there, but I mean, what could it then be apart from Abbey, which doesn't make any sense at all? Image, ABB. No, don't know. Right, 16 down, we're in real trouble now. Side with monarch and Scottish banker providing support. Side with monarch and Scottish banker. That's going to be something like, well, it could be the name of a Scottish river, which is a terrifying prospect because there are a lot of those. Providing support, backing or propping. Side with monarch. King at the end seems not inconceivable. Oh, police's image. That's not going to be something like, what do they call those? You know, when people draw pictures of criminals, identikit type things are becoming bothered. Don't know. I'm really struggling in this area. Have I had a look at this one? No, I have not looked at this one. Having finished twice, given a tip. Upended. Yep, that's right. Good. Okay, if something's up, it's finished. And if something's ended, it's finished. So 2 words for finished, put them together, and if you give something a tip, it is upended. So this must be do. Ruin. Do. Ruin. Suit. Suit. Do. Why can't I just write that in? Do. Ruin. Do in. I just want to put ruin. Do bad. Do. That's awful. I'm feeling embarrassed now. Arundel would be a castle. With a lord single. A lord single is a. Oh gosh, that is brilliant. That is brilliant. It's so misleading. It's shockingly misleading. Arundel is the answer. Almost unsolvable unless you get a couple of letters. Guess the answer and then reread the clue about 4 times. Why is this correct? The definition is English castle. With this A here, we put a Lord's single. Now that is a single scored at the ground Lords, which is a cricket ground. And so a single at Lords is a run. So A goes with run, and then a key on your keyboard, we've all got one, there's a delete key, which has a del written on it. It doesn't have delete. Mine does have delete. But normally I think it's just got del. So Arundel is the answer. Right, what's this poem then? I just don't know it. It's not poet anyway, it's a poem. Historic work. Magna Carta. Coming in awfully handy. Not awful. It could be an anagram of, handy, not a. You have to read all of that, and that would give us 9 letters of the 14 we need. So historic work would then be 5 letters in the middle. So that would at least allow us to start the answer with an A or an O. Anthony. funny if my surname was an answer that I couldn't get. Historic work. Antony poem. I bet there is a poem called. It's probably no. Mark Antony spelt differently. Antony. I mean, it is actually, that is interesting. Anthony. It's like Daniel Deronda, but Antony. This would end DA probably. So if it ended DA, side with monarch and Scottish banker providing support. With monarch. I don't know, I quite like Anthony there as the first word. That would give me a useful looking H down here. Winger. Chaffinch. Wow. Why is it Chaffinch? Is kid on edge. If you edge somewhere, you inch towards it. If you edge, you go a very short distance. And chaff, I think chaff and kid are synonymous. So what is this? I mean, this is outrageous. Cave. Canum or something. Would you mind the setter maybe using Latin? It's going to be cave, I'm pretty sure about that. And I'm thinking that at the moment. But I'm not actually sure about that. That could be an E, couldn't it? Cave. Canum. Let's see if there's some way of getting these unchecked letters from the wordplay. Would you mind the setter, maybe? The setter is, when he's writing, he's talking about himself. So the setter may be using Latin. Or could it be can I? Would you mind? The setter may be. Would you mind? The setter maybe can I? Maybe it's cave canim. Cave canim. We see, would you mind, I think, is cave. That's like a warning. Would you mind? The setter, maybe. Can I? Can. You can see, I just don't know this, unfortunately. I just don't know the word. I think, well, we'll get to the end and then we'll have to look that one up. Right, lexicographer. Roomful is the contents of chambers. Oh, that's lovely. That's going to be right. Okay, so that's misled me as well, because I think of chambers, I think of the Chambers Dictionary, which is this, the Chambers Dictionary. And of course, the setter knows this, and he knows I'm going to think like this. So we get this. Lexicographer originally, that's probably L. From, oh, no, it's an anagram, isn't it? It's an anagram of L and from OU. They are being dispatched. And that gives us the anagram, the entire contents of chambers is the roomful. That's beautiful. What a brilliant clue. Right, so we've got cave canim. We've got Anthony something. You can see how, if you had a classical education of any value, blame my old school, you could just fill this crossword in. Well, not literally, but it would be easier. So disapprove of, bother boy still looks possible here, doesn't it? Anthony, historic work coming in. So have we got, right, we've got ANTHONY, and we've got the D and the A. Well, that A could be there. So that would suggest this is a D, and our historic work is 5 letters with a 4th letter of R. Anthony angered. That's what I am. Anthony altered. Historic work coming in awfully handy. Not. Oh, unless it's. I wonder if it could be poem as well in the anagram fodder. No, then I'd need an R as well. I don't know what's giving me an R in here. So I think it probably is the name of a poem. Historic work. The Iliad? What's a word for a historic work, or an example of a historic work? Pieta? Historic work. I don't know. As I'm sure many of you have realised, I don't know. You're probably all shouting at screens, but if I don't know it, it's hard. Trust me. Excursion with host to see body of church. Excursion with host to see body of church. Sally? If you go on an excursion, do you go on a Sally? Sally Army? See, Sally Army, is that... I think I've heard that expression. I think Sally Army might be right there. So do for is to ruin, and if something suits, it does for you. Wow, so do for is right. So Sally Army I really like now. So bother boy still looks possible for this one. That would give me a B here. Are becoming, befit. Bothered primarily with an E-fit, an electronic... Yeah, an E-fit is when they do those identikit things. So that's some... I think this is bother boy. But the thing is, I think bother boy can be spelt weirdly like that. So we've got to bear that in mind. And what is going on here? I don't know. I don't like that D. So side with monarch and Scottish banker providing support. Punditry. That's the word I've thought of that fits. That'll give me a U here. That's not going to be right. Side with monarch. We haven't had a Q in the grid, have we? Oh, could that be my Q? Anthony acquired or something. No, acquired is not spelled like that. Anthony Acquirus. That would give me a U here. Disapprove of having very brief word with Yankee. Having very brief word with Yankee tough. Disapprove of. I mean, I think actually maybe that's... Oh, a verb is a word. So, oh goodness me, it's bother boy spelt like this. I don't believe it. That's vicious. It is absolutely vicious. Right. I understand it though. Disapprove of is to boo, B-O-O. That's having, it's surrounding, V for very, that's this V. A brief word is verb. Very brief, okay. I think very brief is saying abbreviate the word very to give the V, and then a word is a verb as an example of a word. So bother boy is right. And now, wow, Anthony Adverse? Anthony, oh, it is Anthony Adverse. It is. The reason it's that is that I was trying to put a D from the anagram at the end. Well, why don't I put the D there and just follow it with the word verse, which means poem? So the historic work is coming in, it's generated by an anagram of handy not a, followed by the word verse. So Anthony Adverse, I've never heard of that in my life. And all we've got to do now is look up Cave Canim and hopefully find a word. I think it's probably literally that's all we've got to do. There can't be many words that fit this pattern. 16 down, side with monarch. Side with monarch. And Scottish banker. That's the Tay. Oh, stay. Okay, the Tay is the Scottish river. So providing support is going to be headstay, side with monarch. Or maybe it's not that then. Providing support. Side. That could be the right or the left side, so maybe it begins with L or R. With monarch and Scottish banker. Wow. I think the whole thing is a word for support, a type of support. So I'm thinking like mainstay was what I was thinking, but it's obviously not mainstay. Side with monarch. Be Roundheads, Cavaliers, Royalists. Side with monarch. Monarch is a butterfly. Side with monarch and Scottish banker. I'm so sorry. I know most of you will have got this by now, but I'm not seeing it. Are we going to have to literally do a sort of, trying to work out what this letter is? Maybe. Let's check Cave Canem anyway. Let's do that first. So Cave Canem. Look, nearly. Beware of the dog. Okay, why on earth is it that? Oh, that's brilliant. Okay. I mean, I didn't know it because I didn't know the expression, but I now understand it having looked at the answer. Would you mind the setter? I was thinking it meant the setter as in the person who wrote the crossword. It's not talking about that. It's talking setter as in a breed of dog. So mind this. Beware of the dog. Mind the setter using Latin Cave Canem. So yeah, okay. My lack of Latin there lets me down. And I know for most people that will be most people who've done any classical education, that will be a very well-known phrase. Well, that shows you how if you don't know the language, it really isn't very easy. It's like getting Antony adverse, if you've never heard of it, is also quite hard. So side with monarch and Scottish banker providing support. Side with monarch. Monarch could be... I really don't know what this is. I'm not actually... Headstay is the only thing that I don't think that's a word, by the way. I'm not even intending to put it in. It's just the only thing I can think of that might make any sort of tangential sense. Side with monarch. Side with monarch. I'm doing a dictionary trawl in my mind here, just trying to come up with something. I'm not coming up with anything. Wow. Side with monarch and Scottish banker providing support. Or maybe it's saying that this is the name of a side. With monarch. And so the whole clue is providing. No, Scottish banker is providing support. So Tay is providing support for. With monarch and. So the whole thing means side. Or side with. And then I just have to come up with the word for. A 5-letter word for monarch. Well, that looks worse, doesn't it? Side with. I don't want to give up here. I want to try and get this. It's already quite a long video. And I think spending another minute or two on trying to work out the answer, that's the nature of crosswords when you can't do them. So this is not... It's not that surprising. It is a very hard puzzle. I have to remember that. Side with monarch and Scottish banker. I'm very reluctant to take out Tay at the bottom. It just seems too good to be true for this not to involve the name of that Scottish river. Lend stay. Side, the leg side, the onside, offside. I'm thinking cricket sides now. Side with monarch. The monarch here is very odd. And side with monarch. I almost think I've got to change the way I'm thinking about this, because all of the thoughts I'm having are they're not advancing me. So what could it be? Head stay again. Lead stay, lead stay, lens stay. I mean, maybe the S is wrong. Could it be the S wrong? I really like stay for support, though. It just feels right to me. Maybe I've got to take out Tay and think again. Let me just think about it there. Side with monarch and Scottish banker providing support. Appended is right. Anthony adverse. I mean, that would be funny if that was wrong. This E could be wrong. I mean, goodness only knows what the poem is if it's not verse. I mean, I just feel that that's right. Befit must be right. E-fit, Sally Army must be right. I think the crossing entries are right. So side with monarch and Scottish banker providing support. Side with monarch. What is the monarch? King, queen. I've thought of head, but Scottish banker. Scottish is not abbreviated to S, so I don't think that's where that S is coming from. I think Scottish banker is there. Side with monarch. I think this is some weird word that means side with monarch. Like on a chessboard, it'd be like, the first row or something. It's some weird thing like that. Side with a monarch. Oh, it's heads. It is head stay. Side with a monarch on a coin is heads. Ah, that's brilliant. That is brilliant. And you can see how long I've just sat there, just being misled by that, and you all getting cross with me. But I believe we have at least managed to solve the puzzle. Let's click submit and see whether we've got any errors. And we haven't. Okay, well that is something. So I'm not totally disgusted with myself. I'm a little bit disgusted that I didn't know Cave Canem, or however you say this. Anthony adverse. I will rely on the comments to explain to me what that means, because I have not got a clue. And other than that, it was a beautiful, beautiful puzzle. There are so many highlights. I'm just going to go through quickly and tell you which clues I absolutely loved. Queen to take off in pursuit of Rear Admiral is just sublime. I like the lexicographer clue as well. He painted. I liked Holbein. Twig I replanted to make things even. I quite like that. I like the mark of democracy. There's so many little turns of phrase in this crossword that are just wonderful. Record of Turkish governor visiting in foreign lands, beautiful. Let's have a look at the downs as well. Oh yes, I haven't understood this. Reporting by journalists of cause of sailing incident in bay. What is going on there? A cause of a sailing incident is somehow, I think, giving rise to ERAG. Reporting by journalists of cause of sailing incident. No, I don't know that one. I don't understand that. Oh, is it saying cove rage? Maybe it's... Okay, I have been putting cove around the outside of the cause of the sailing incident. I now see that was inaccurate. Because I was seeing in bay there and thinking, okay, well, I've got to put something inside a word for bay, which in my mind was cove. But let's read it differently. Let's read it as cove rage. Because that could be like road rage. I think that's what the compiler's getting at there. So, okay, so cove rage is how we had to learn that. Video I very much like because I got it somewhat surprisingly. Buffet car was beautiful. Online courses, that's just absolutely class, isn't it? Volatile situation in Brixton. I mean, that's very clever because it evokes memories of the Brixton riots, which, so volatile situation in Brixton is something that was very much in the news. Bother Boy was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Yeah, that's lovely, isn't it? Side with Monarch. Well, the less said about that, the better. Yeah, it's just quality. It's a quality puzzle, and it's quite a long video, but hopefully for those of you who are into your cryptic crosswords, that was useful. I don't know. You can let me know in the comments whether you want to see more of this type of video and this type of content. I do have a cryptic crossword video in mind that I intend to make in the next couple of weeks, if I can find the time, about Mark and I's venture before we did Cracking the Cryptic, but more on that to come. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.